Ladies and gentlemen, the end of the world. Hi guys, okay, so now we're having lunch. We had just come from Sintra, we came from Palace, and it's 1 p.m. It's actually super bright and sunny. It's like cold, but it's hot. But anyway, we are famished, and so famished that I actually forgot to take a photo or a video of one of the most amazing octopus salads I've ever had. I love octopus. I think that's why it's so hard for me to be completely vegan, because I love my pulpo. The pulpo, it's like, I've tried making octopus in my life and it was the chewiest thing ever. But this actually just like melts in your mouth. It's super soft. But anyway, if you're not feeling the salad, you can have the whole thing to yourself, which is what we have right here. So some clients, they don't want the heads, which is understandable. It can be quite graphic, but so they just want the tentacles. Us, doesn't matter. So we have the whole thing here. So we're gonna cut a piece onto it with some onions, get a bit of the potato, some olive oil, of the octopus are like a little bit crunchy, but then the meaty part, it's like chewy, but not like in a like tough way. Wow, it was made it's so simple. Like it's so simple. Absolutely amazing. And then the onions are a little bit sweet. Okay, enough talking. Time to eat. So guys, the name of this restaurant is Casa de Luís, and Mr. Luís himself is going to be what do you call it? Filleting our fish? What fish is this? Sea bass? A sea bass. Okay. Here we go. Obrigada, Luís. Thank you. Okay, so now it's time to try the sea bass. Okay, so it's like slathered in like really fresh olive oil, just salt, pepper, nothing fancy. I think that's how you can really tell if fish is fresh, if they only use minimal ingredients, so that it's actually the fish that, you know, is the star of the show. Here we go. I wish my dad was here, because usually what he does, he eats the head, he sucks the eyes, he sucks the spine, he does everything. But it's so nice that Sir Luís here is actually like deboning everything for us. But the fish is so sweet, it's succulent. It's just the right amount of seasoning. It doesn't even need a lot of flavor. It's so good, really good. Thank you. Yeah. Guys, 3 people. Wipe out. There was an emergency. There was like an emergency evacuation, and we were told we only had one last meal before anything would happen, and this was it. It was so good. Very good. Very good. I think what made it really good is just how tender it was, how fresh it was, and to think it was just so simple, no, you know, extra sauces or anything like that. It was yeah, very memorable. So when Roy had told us that we're gonna love this restaurant, okay, fine, you know, you always say like, oh, this restaurant's so good, but okay, he was right. So Roy, 1 point for you. Obrigada. Obrigada. Thank you so much. And thank you, Roy, for the recommendation.
No problem. Next time, next same place.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So wish.
Alright guys, it's about that time for another history lesson. So, we're here now, still in Portugal. I'm running out of breath. And this is a place where they call the end of the world. And no, not we're talking about doomsday. We're talking about literally, if you think like a flat surface, the end of the map, where maybe there's a giant waterfall, so you're just gonna fall right over, because that is it. And there's actually a saying that says, this, at this point, at this cross right here, this is the end of Earth and the beginning of the ocean. So, isn't that amazing? And it was only later on that Columbus had discovered Cuba, in particular El Salvador, I think, that there was so much more to Europe than they knew back then. So, ladies and gentlemen, the end of the world. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I travel with my parents, and God bless my parents, they forget that I'm a full-grown woman. They still treat me sometimes like I'm 10. So you see this, overlook this viewpoint right here, like they're so afraid if I stand beside the edges or do a pose that's like, that is so far from the edge. I guess that's what being a parent is. Like, no matter how grown up your kids are, I mean, I'm a parent, but I try to be mindful and just remember that my kid is growing as well, and she's becoming one day like a full-grown adult. I think my favorite part about traveling is that, or just life in general, that I get to learn through traveling is, you think you know, but you don't. You think you've learned stuff in school, but you haven't. You think you know shit about life? No, dude. There's so much to learn, and more importantly, there's so much to unlearn. Unlearn. Because there are things like, for example, once upon a time they thought there were only 2 planets. Or once upon a time they probably thought there was only one galaxy. Or once upon a time, right here, they thought that the Earth was flat. But then, as man evolves, as our consciousness evolves, as our knowledge evolves, we learn that there's so little that we know about the world, about life, of ourselves. And that's what traveling does. It may zap you in the wallet a little bit, but it sure expands your horizons, unlike anything that you can ever think of. So I hope for you that you may be at the end of the world, but it is just at the brink, at like that, right there, at that turning point in your life where you realize how small you are. And that smallness can grow into so many things. The possibilities of growth, of learning, of wisdom, of just an awakening.